Hello, I'm Amelia Broun. You're watching 7's Afternoon News live from Perth. Coming up, rules relaxed. WA braces for an influx of West Australians stranded overseas after the states agreed to lifting the cap on international arrivals. Crash chaos in Gosnells, how a car smashed through a family home. Charges laid over a shooting standoff in Perth's north. Why a record concussion payout could have huge impacts on the AFL. Heading home from the hub, the West Coast Eagles return to the nest after a crucial win. And see how one of Perth Zoo's oldest residents celebrated his 54th birthday. Leading the news at 4, more Australians stranded overseas will be able to come home after National Cabinet agreed to lift the cap on international arrivals. Political reporter Jennifer Beshwati has the details from Canberra.
Well, some welcome relief for the 24,000 Australians stranded overseas. 6,000 will, by next month, be able to return home per week. The states taking the most return travellers will be New South Wales, with an additional 500 a week from Monday the 27th of September. Queensland will take 200 additional travellers later this month and another 300 a week from October, and Western Australia the same arrangement. The federal government has also promised more Defence Force personnel to guard hotel quarantine. Today, the Labor leader called for the federal government to pay for hotel quarantine, saying it's the Commonwealth's responsibility. Here's the Prime Minister's response to that.
They haven't asked for that. No one asked for that today. That didn't come from the Queensland government or WA government today. They weren't asking for money. They were asking for ADF support, and the answer to that was yes, and they will receive that support. Meanwhile,
the federal government says stricter rules for job seekers will return later this month. It means the more than 1.35 million Australians currently receiving job seeker payments will need to actively look for 8 jobs a month. They must accept suitable job offers or be penalised and work for the dole activities return. Here's Treasurer Josh Frydenberg.
It's critically important to the strength of the Australian economy that where there are jobs available, people take them. There are jobs there and they're gradually coming back as the economy reopens.
Also announced today, a national contact tracing system so states can share details, and a $2 billion extension for at-home Medicare services like telehealth consultations.
Mark McGowan says agreeing to double our state's intake of international arrivals by October 12 will have a number of consequences for the state, most notably to elective surgery. To help explain that, Rob Scott is here. Rob, the Premier has warned some non-urgent procedures may need to be postponed.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Amelia, and that's because with an extra 500 people arriving into WA each week, another hotel may have to be set up to handle hotel quarantine. A direct result of that is more specialist medical staff will have to be diverted away from hospitals, which could mean some elective surgery is postponed.
In order to stand up additional hotels, in order to deal with additional people returning from overseas, we're going to need to allocate additional health staff. That's just the reality.
And Rob, the Health Minister has announced the state has introduced a new form of protection against COVID-19.
Yes, wastewater treatment testing, Amelia, to track and monitor for traces of COVID-19 in the state's sewage network. Now, while that won't replace any of the current testing that's being done, it will add an extra layer of protection and provide a useful warning sign, possibly indicating there are people in a certain community who may have not been diagnosed with the virus, but who may have or recently had it.
It's another level of surveillance, and if it does pick up any opportunities or any presence of the disease, obviously that's a good thing.
And tonight at 6 I'll have details of another quarantine dodger caught breaking the rules, and he has subsequently been fitted with an ankle bracelet.
All right, thank you very much, Rob. A Gosnells family has been left traumatised after a driver lost control and ploughed their car through their bedroom window. Thankfully, no one was injured in the terrifying near miss, but as Amber Johnston reports, it could have been a lot worse.
Well, if you take a look at this damage, it's almost hard to believe that no one was hurt, especially when the homeowner was inside this room as it happened. We understand 2 cars collided with each other, sending the red Hyundai into the Gosnells home. It happened just after lunchtime along Fremantle Road. Russell Taylor had just walked into his bedroom before impact.
I just heard this thump, and then the glass started to break, and I immediately bolted for the door and came outside and, hello, there's an Elantra sitting there. It's one of those things, and there's no point in getting upset about it.
We'll have more details on this accident in 7 News at 6 o'clock.
A 37-year-old man shot 3 times by 2 police officers in Yanchep has been charged. It's alleged the man threatened officers with a large kitchen knife and a pole in bushland yesterday morning. Police say when the man refused to lower the weapons, shots were fired. He's facing 1 count of unlawful act or omission with intent to harm. The man remains in Royal Perth Hospital. The first was critical leave. Is a police officer. The fatal shooting of a Geraldton mother has failed in his bid to have his trial heard in Geraldton. He shot dead 29-year-old JC 1 year and 1 day ago today. Cassidy Moscone was in court.
Good afternoon. Members from the mother's family sighed with relief from the back of court today when Justice Jeremy Curthoys dismissed the police officer's application to have his trial moved to Geraldton. It's been 1 year and 1 day since the Geraldton mother was shot dead outside her Carlu home. The family, who want her to be known as JC, say the memory is still fresh in their mind.
Oh, just hectic and hard to be strong, you know, to go through all this. Try and keep my family all together, you know.
They say today's decision brings them 1 step closer to justice for JC.
This will benefit the family in some way in terms of trauma recovery, healing and ensuring that justice is being afforded.
The officer, whose identity has been suppressed to protect him, shot the 29-year-old dead on September 17 last year. Police say she was armed with a knife and another weapon, and when she refused to drop them, that's when the officer fired. He admits to the shooting but says he's not guilty of murder because he was just doing his job. Tonight in 7 News at 6, hear the judge's reasons for refusing to move the trial and keeping it here in Perth.
A state government investigation has been launched into a collapsed ceiling at Hillary's primary school that fell on students. Work on the classroom has to wait until asbestos testing is complete. 3 pupils received minor injuries.
Obviously, that would have been very concerning for the children, the staff and the parents, and clearly it would have been very difficult for people that occurred.
The Premier said $200,000 of upgrades currently underway at the facility may have destabilised the roof. Health authorities in Melbourne are racing to shut down a worrying COVID cluster in southeastern suburbs, with fears it could stop the city emerging from lockdown. The outbreak has so far been linked to 34 cases across 5 households. The state today recorded 45 new infections. That's 17 more than yesterday. Tragically, 5 more Victorians have lost their lives to the virus. Meanwhile, huge delays are building at checkpoints around Melbourne, with lines several kilometres long. Police say the rush is partly caused by regional people driving through the city to get to holiday spots. Melburnians are being warned not to risk the trip to regional Victoria or cop a fine of almost $5,000.
The time will come to go and spend time in your second residence or to go on a holiday, whether that be camping or a caravan park or your beach house or whatever it might be. That's not now.
More than 25,000 vehicles went through checkpoints yesterday. 10 fines were handed out. Queensland will lift border restrictions on the ACT from next Friday. The Palaszczuk government says it's because the nation's capital has been virus-free for a substantial amount of time.
It's timed to coincide with the school holidays in the ACT. It's a great chance for people to come and visit friends and relatives or go to the reef.
Borders remain shut to residents in New South Wales and Victoria. Queensland has recorded 0 new cases of COVID-19 in the past 24 hours. A former White House staffer has launched a scathing attack on the US president, accusing him of endangering lives during the pandemic. But Donald Trump claims he has no idea who the woman is. US Bureau Chief Ashley Mullaney has more.
Good afternoon. Olivia Troy is the latest former White House staffer to come out attacking the president, but the first who served on the coronavirus task force. In a new video released by a group called Republican Voters Against Trump, Troy spoke about her time working as an advisor to Vice President Pence during the pandemic. She claims Donald Trump's actions were detrimental to keeping Americans safe, dismissed by the president this afternoon.
It was shocking to see the president saying that the virus was a hoax, saying that everything's okay when we know that it's not. The truth is, he doesn't actually care about anyone else but himself.
I never met her, to the best of my knowledge. Maybe she was in her room. I have no idea who she is. She doesn't know me. It's just another person that leaves, and whether it's CNN or Washington Post, they say negative things.
The attacks are coming thick and fast with less than 50 days until the election. Joe Biden tonight fronting a town hall and questions from voters, painting himself as the best candidate to lead the country through the health crisis.
Yesterday, 1,200 deaths in the United States. All of Canada had 9. Last Friday, we had 1,000 deaths. All of Canada had 0 deaths. This president is doing it all wrong. We need to make a fundamental change in the way we're moving.
Trump, meanwhile, was counter-programming, holding an outdoor rally in Wisconsin tonight. His schedule, a 15-hour day. And despite this virus gripping America and disrupting the campaign, he's stepping up his time on the ground in these battleground states.
Former Demon high flyer Sean Smith has received a historic $1.4 million payout for serious brain injuries he received while playing footy. The money comes from an insurance company acknowledging how much concussion impacted his life. Nick McCallum explains.
It's an intensely personal victory for Sean Smith, which may have huge ramifications for the AFL. Nowadays, Sean Smith plays guitar to soothe his nerves. But the man who took the mark of the century suffered a series of concussions which triggered debilitating depression. The $1.4 million payout from his insurance company acknowledges his head injuries are so profound he'll never work again.
This is going to take a lot of stress off and it'll help me move forward. Obviously, you know, I've got a lot of living to do.
Sean's agent, Peter Jess, says it's a wake-up call for the AFL.
There can be no longer a denial from the AFL that concussions cause permanent damage.
Lewis! Sean's precedent could also lead to huge payouts to others struggling with concussion from the AFL.
It could be between $1 to $2 billion.
I'm one of many players out there that are really doing it tough.
A game changer in terms of acknowledging the long-term risks and the long-term links between repeated head trauma and later life impairments and disabilities.
Last year, we spoke to Sean after he attempted suicide.
Nearly a year ago, I was sitting in a mental hospital, basically crying my eyes out for the first 3 or 4 weeks I was in there.
He says this payout will change his life and give hope to so many others.
And hopefully it'll open up the door for people to realise that it actually is, concussion is a major issue in sport.
And Sean plans to donate some of his payout to researchers working on the effects of concussion.
The West Coast Eagles are back in WA and heading for home quarantine. Last night they beat North Melbourne, a crucial win. Ryan Daniels has more from the Gold Coast.
Well, the West Coast Eagles didn't do it easy last night, but they did beat North Melbourne by 15 points and kept their top 4 chances alive. They'll now rely on an upset or two. They need Richmond to lose to Adelaide or Geelong to lose to Sydney to gain a double chance. Here's Adam Simpson after the game.
You sort of start hoping teams win and lose, so I'm just like every other West Coast supporter out there, so at least we put a bit of pressure on the two sides. They've got to win to lock away top 4, and if we don't get it, we finish 5th and we get to play at home.
The second hub stint here in the Sunshine State is over for the West Coast Eagles. They left their resort here in Sanctuary Cove this morning and have touched down at home. They'll go into a 14-day quarantine at home with their families. If they remain in fifth spot, they'll then host an elimination final at Optus Stadium in the first week of finals. And they'll be sweating on a number of injured stars. Josh Kennedy is the latest concern. He left last night's clash early with an ankle injury.
I think he's okay. Yeah, it's a new injury to his ankle. He's walking around, so I think it was more precaution than anything. But we're going to see how he pulls up tomorrow. So I think it could be just a garden variety roll, but we won't know till he pulls up.
So a nervous weekend ahead for West Coast Eagles fans. They'll no doubt be cheering on the Adelaide Crows and the Sydney Swans.
Still to come in Perth's afternoon news on 7, a woman arrested over a stabbing in Perth's north. Plus, devastating flooding ravages the United States, the race to save trapped residents. Frightening new details on how a Russian politician was poisoned. And an unlucky woman swept away by a rubbish truck.
Perth's best team. Reporting to you, for you, every night. Nobody knows Perth like 7 News.
Fresh tomatoes that are simply bursting with flavour.
Doesn't get any fresher than this.
But how do farmers do it? Graham will show you how. Secret tips straight from the farm, straight to your backyard. And right now, it's tomato time.
The timing is perfect.
New Better Homes, tonight on 7.
Before you choose the bench tops and basins or the doors and floors, think about an even bigger decision, the frame that holds everything up. A house frame made with true core steel has the inner strength and durability to remain straight and true for you and your family now and in the future. To find builders using true core steel, visit truecore.com.au.
Hey, babe.
Hey, I've been held up.
Where are you?
Why?
You sound different.
Do I?
Yeah, you do.
I'll see you soon.
What did you buy? Yeah. Me too.
The new T-Rock and T-Cross. You'll just want one. Volkswagen.
The Checkout Car Park Sale takes up to 50% off top brand appliances. Oven and cooktop pack just $5.99. Washers and dishwashers from $3.99. In Sunday, 58 Guthrie Street, Osborne Park. Checkout.
Be inspired. It's the Spring Inspiration Sale at the Blinds Gallery. Save up to 50% on indoor and outdoor blinds, curtains and awnings. Plus huge savings on indoor and outdoor shutters.
Call 137 127 the Blinds Gallery.
Can you bring the glasses? Oh, it's annoying. They're still wet.
To help avoid that, just add Finish Rinse Aid. It speeds up drying for drier and shinier dishes. Try Finish Rinse Aid today.
At Furniture Bazaar, buy now and pay nothing for 24 months. Get 50% off all Slumbercare mattresses and take home the Warwick Lounge for only $18.99. Love it, leave with it and pay nothing for 24 months.
Furniture Bazaar.
Restful sleep and absolute comfort. Our Tessa beds provide gel-infused memory foam luxury and support and adjust at the touch of a button. Visit our website or browse extensive range of products at any of our 4 stores. Medi Hire and Sales. Take care of yourself.
When it comes to any property, it's what's inside that counts. We understand that the true value of any home is the life inside. Professionals Real Estate. International network, local expertise.
Tomorrow, for me, is when you see those bills in the letterbox and it gets so overwhelming you don't even open them. And you know you'll have to deal with them eventually. But you just put it off as long as you can. That's why it means so much when people like Synergy work with you to share the load a bit. Working with you to help, you know.
You're watching 7's 4 p.m. news live from Perth. Right now it's a sunny 21 degrees in the city. Stay with us. The forecast is coming up soon. A woman has been arrested over a stabbing in Perth's northeastern suburbs. Police say a man was stabbed at Beach's Tavern on Altone Road in Beachborough. He was taken to Royal Perth Hospital to be treated. New evidence has emerged that Kremlin critic Alexey Navalny was poisoned with a Soviet-era nerve agent in his hotel room. Traces of Novichok were found on a water bottle, quickly collected and sent to Germany by his supporters. Sarah Greenhalgh reports.
Well, it seems that Alexey Navalny's campaign team was braced for some sort of attack. Within an hour of finding out that the Russian opposition leader had fallen critically ill on a flight to Moscow back on the 20th of August, they gained access to their colleague's hotel room. They say they couldn't trust the Russian authorities, so they went into the room, donning their own rubber gloves, going around and seizing potential evidence. They then bagged it all up and sent it off to Germany. German military scientists detected traces of the nerve agent Novichok on one of the plastic water bottles that was seized from that hotel room. The campaign team today posted the video to an Instagram account saying it is clear Alexey Navalny was poisoned at his hotel and not at an airport in Siberia drinking a cup of tea, as was initially suspected. The Putin critic is slowly recovering. He is out of a coma and is breathing on his own. The Kremlin is still denying any involvement in the incident. But today, the European Parliament passed a resolution demanding EU leaders impose tough sanctions on Russia. They say this attempted assassination is part of a systemic effort by Vladimir Putin to silence dissident voices. Navalny has indicated that once he has recovered, he will be heading back to Russia.
A huge cleanup is underway along America's southeast after Hurricane Sally left a path of destruction. Search and rescue operations are continuing with people cut off by floodwaters. Entire communities were submerged as the storm dumped torrential rain across Mississippi, Alabama and Florida.
We'll pull out of this and another month it'll be all cleaned up and everybody rebuilding and ready for next year.
Almost 500,000 people are without power. Wildfires are still raging across the west coast of America, with hundreds of homes under threat. New evacuation orders have been issued north of Los Angeles as the Bobcat fire exploded in size overnight. Some of the most dangerous fires are burning unchecked in that area, with crews having no access through dense scrub. Huge plumes of thick smoke are making air quality hazardous as the haze drifts across the country. A natural gas pipeline has exploded in the American state of Oklahoma, sparking a massive blaze. The blast northwest of Oklahoma City could be felt several kilometres away. Eyewitness video shows a huge fireball lighting up the night sky. It has now been contained. An elderly woman had the fright of her life when she was accidentally swept up by a garbage truck. The mechanical arm grabbed the bench she was sitting on in New York State. Thankfully, the woman walked away with minor injuries. A sacred piece of Australian cricketing history is under threat. The concrete pitch, believed to be the very one the great Donald Bradman sharpened his skills on, is at risk of being bulldozed to make way for a new development in New South Wales. Robert Avadia reports.
Well, more than any other claim to fame the small town of Bowral in the New South Wales Southern Highlands might seek to have, it's one that stands above all others, and that is the fact that the Don grew up here. And this here is the pitch that he learnt to play on. They're thought to have played on as a school kid, very much weathered now and the subject of a looming legal battle in the Land and Environment Court. Developers are keen to build a housing estate here, but there is fierce resistance, not only from the cricketing community, but from the town of Bowral itself.
There is nostalgia. As soon as you say Don Bradman, of course, Bowral comes to mind, and the reputation he left behind and what he achieved over his life.
The pitch was heritage listed in 2017, but the developers are fighting that in court. A decent amount of money is clearly at stake for them, but priceless for those seeking to preserve Don Bradman's legacy as Australia's greatest sportsman.
It tells an unwritten chapter from the Bradman story. It talks about Bradman's high school cricket. This was when he experienced his first organised cricket.
Arguments on the pitch's fate are expected before the Land and Environment Court by the end of this month.
Former Prime Minister Tony Abbott has been hacked after posting a photo of his boarding pass on social media. The March image thanking Qantas crew helped a hacker uncover his phone number and passport details. The hacker has now warned others against posting personal information online. The airline has also updated cyber security protocols. Coming up after the break, a twist in a missing camper's mystery. Plus, childcare assault, the Perth woman accused of a shocking crime. And lotto luck, a young woman wakes up $60 million richer.
My name is Hercule Poirot.
Agatha Christie's greatest whodunit reimagined.
There is a murderer among us.
Murder on the Orient Express, tonight on 7.
People are not like cars. Cars are easy. You put them in drive and they go. People are complicated. Cars don't have confusing rituals. Cars don't get all emotional. Cars don't have teenagers. I think that was the car. At My Car, we don't just look after cars, we look after the people who drive them. My Car Tyre and Auto. People first.
Unpolished beauty. It defines our country, our products, our people. And at Stratco, we're proud of it. Because these calloused hands show our expertise is earned. From decades of custom crafting, roofing and cladding solutions for remarkable Australian homes. Colorbond Steel's stunning matte finish. Brought to life by Stratco. You bring the dream, Stratco will bring the how-to.
What makes telethon speech and hearing so special? It's been a lifesaver for families for over 50 years. Specialists deliver our programs in person or through teletherapy. Don't risk your child falling behind. Call Telethon Speech and Hearing today.
Shop ABC Spring Saving Sale for 40% off rollers and panel blinds, 30% off double rollers, 20% off sheer curtains, and 10% off shutters.
1315 ABC.
ECU's teaching quality has consistently been rated amongst the best in the country. Their academics are the bridge between your world and the whole world.
This is an actual event. It could happen to anyone.
Stephen Broun lawyers can tell you how much your claim is really worth. It's no win, no fee. Call 13-HURT.
Make the healthiest switch to veggie rice and get more veggies in. Make the healthiest switch to veggie rice.
Nervous? It's just an ad.
Oh, sure. First, we're switching out carb-filled rice for delicious 100% veggie cauliflower rice, but then what? Who's next?
Oh, they won't switch you.
Don't jinx it.
Ah! P? P?
No P, just me.
Oh, actually, this switch is good too.
Bird's eye.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
A childcare worker in Perth's north has been charged with 4 counts of aggravated assault occasioning bodily harm. The 23-year-old Quinns Rocks woman is accused of scratching 2 boys and 2 girls in her care. She's due to face Joondalup Magistrates Court next month. Investigations are continuing. 8 people have been rescued from a sinking boat off the Queensland coast. 4 children, including a 6-month-old baby, and 4 adults were saved from the vessel 60 nautical miles east of Rockhampton. The group got into trouble this morning when their 8-metre catamaran started taking on water. They got themselves onto a life raft as their boat sunk and were on the water for about an hour before they were picked up by a bulk carrier. The group has been medically assessed and is doing well. Nearly 6 months after a couple disappeared from a campsite in regional Victoria, overseas detectives have been brought in. With next to no trace of the pair found, police fear they may have met foul play. Cassie Zervos has more.
Russell Hill and Carol Clay vanished while on a camping trip in the remote Wonnangatta Valley in March. Our most senior detectives have now called on overseas and interstate experts to help solve the case.
This investigation has been quite unique to us in a number of ways because of the remoteness of the area, a lack of what you might say conventional avenues of inquiry. So we've really had to think outside the square.
Early in the investigation, police were able to rule out the possibility the pair faked their own deaths, but they fear it's more likely they met with foul play, investigating a number of theories.
It being what I would call a reckless accident, so maybe a shooter or a hunter or even a four-wheel drive, been engaged in some reckless activity which has caused an accident and then there's been a cover-up.
The pair set off on a camping trip on March 20. A day later, their campsite was found torched and no signs of them.
It's one of the key things that makes this whole thing suspicious. When you add the fire to the fact that two people are missing, to me that's what elevates it more into the suspicious category.
This Sunday will mark 6 months since the pair vanished, and police are hoping those who were in the area at the time but are still yet to come forward will finally make contact with police.
Perth's Daniel Ricciardo was used to living life in the fast lane until the coronavirus pandemic put racing on hold. But now he's back in the driver's seat. He finished 4th in Sunday's Tuscan Grand Prix just outside Florence. And with a new partnership deal and a team change next year, Ricciardo's world title dream could finally be within reach.
He's one of the nicest guys on the grid, always smiling.
We won Monaco, so feels good.
And doing this.
This is the world expert at shoeies. That's how you do it.
Daniel Ricciardo has been on a wild ride since he started karting as a kid right here in Perth. He's worked his way up to become motorsport's most wanted man.
For the first time in Formula One, there is no happier man.
I'm still a bit in shock. Thanks everyone. This is ridiculous.
After COVID put the brakes on the sport, racing has now resumed, and Ricciardo is clocking up some impressive results. But it hasn't always been a smooth ride. Next year he'll join McLaren, putting his world title hopes back on track. He's finished 3rd in the World Championship twice. The 31-year-old has also teamed up with a new sponsor, Optus, a company which he says shares his need for speed and yes attitude. The Formula One star now has a small break before his next race in Russia. Anna Hay, 7 News.
A Sydney woman has likely taken a long weekend after learning she held the only winning ticket to last night's $60 million Powerball. In addition to taking home the huge Division 1 prize, she also won Division 2 19 times, boosting her total prize pool to $60,683,000. The woman in her 20s may become the youngest person to retire, but says she hasn't made any decisions at this stage on how to spend it. Imagine that. Now with a look at today's money markets, here's West Business finance reporter Mei-Lin Chu.
Thanks, Amelia. An early rally in Australian shares fizzled out by midday after another nervous performance on Wall Street overnight. The ASX 200 closed 19 points lower after the heavyweight banks offset gains among the major miners. Qantas boss Alan Joyce has taken a big pay cut. His pay packet fell from almost $10 million last year to $1.7 million in the 2020 financial year. Other Qantas execs also saw their salaries fall by 69%. Crown Resorts has scrapped short-term bonuses for its executives but have compensated them with incentive payments. Retailer JB Hi-Fi will not be providing sales guidance for 2021. The company said COVID is continuing to cloud the outlook for the retail sector. The main drag on US markets overnight was the tech sector once again, but the gloom didn't spread to local tech names, with Appen and Afterpay among the day's winners. The Australian dollar has inched higher after falling slightly yesterday on better than expected job job figures. The local currency is now buying 73.15 US cents, up from 72.65 US cents yesterday. And that's the day on the markets.
Ahead on 7's afternoon news, drug bust. Next, a Padbury home raided again. Plus, Madam Butterfly takes a trip down memory lane on the anniversary of her gold medal win. And the new device helping Australian researchers track whales travelling up the humpback highway.
Perth's new hit list for breakfast and brunch is here.
I'll unearth the suburban gems. And it's not just about the food.
Is it pet friendly? A place to take the kids? How about a date?
Even if the parking's any good. There's a new review online every Thursday.
Breakfast and brunch with me, Kate Emery. Subscribe to thewest.com.au.
Dreaming of being a world away? Escape for the weekend on 7/2. Discovering amazing places.
Give me the grand tour.
Meeting unusual faces.
Hello, little one.
Taking what you've got and turning it into the dream you want.
Knew everything.
There are so many places to escape right here.
This is our getaway.
Escape for the weekend on 7/2.
So I ran up a little more debt on your credit card. Took your car keys too. I figure, well, you're not going to be needing them. Of course, if you have any issues with any of this, you just have to say so.
If it makes you feel sick watching it happen to them,
okay, great.
We shouldn't let it happen to you, your friends, or your family. Elder abuse is everyone's business. Visit cotawa.org.au to find out more.
Can I have a minute more? These hours can slip away. Always fading out as night creeps into day. I can sense the currents may have changed, rearranged. Some things never stay the same, but tight stay.
Never fear mouldy grout again. Mr. Wet Wall installs stylish mould-resistant waterproof panels over your existing tiles. Done in a day. Marble, slate and stone finishes at the fraction of the cost of tiling. Search Mr. Wet Wall.
An important part of any successful garden is using a top-quality mulch. Vivanti's Lupin and Triple C mulch retains moisture, reduces weeds and feeds your garden. Find Vivanti's products in the garden section of Bunnings stores.
Transformed by Luxaflex. With the Luxaflex new season sale now on. Save 20% off our iconic collection of blinds, shutters and awnings.
All done, Luke? Just a few more minutes. All done, Luke? Just a few more minutes. All done, Luke?
Just a few more minutes, Mum. Wonder, full of goodness.
Collect your story of memorable firsts at Pandora.
A Padbury home where police found more than 12 kilos of meth earlier this year has been raided again. The house on Warburton Avenue was hit just before 7 o'clock this morning. It's the same place that was at the centre of a bus that took millions of dollars worth of drugs off the streets in May. Today's haul was only minor. A fisherman is recovering in hospital after being bitten by a shark in Queensland. The man, aged in his 50s, caught a white-tipped shark while fishing on a boat off Fraser Island yesterday afternoon, but was bitten while trying to unhook it from his line. The shark latched onto his arm. Friends pried the shark's mouth open and rushed the man to shore. He was airlifted to hospital and remains in a stable condition. It comes just over a week after a fatal shark attack at a Gold Coast beach. A special tribute has been paid to one of our finest swimmers and Olympians. 20 years since the country cheered her on to gold at the Sydney Olympics. Susie O'Neill was reduced to tears in the moving tribute. Steve Titmus was there.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It was emotional here at the Nova Studios this morning when Ash, Kip and Lutzi celebrated Susie O'Neill winning gold at the Olympic Games in Sydney 20 years ago. A bridge at Nova's Brisbane studios, the stage to remember and honour Susie O'Neill's Olympic glory.
And Australia's Susie O'Neill rewriting the history books.
The tears flowed, watching images of a blossoming career on an iPad.
And one of the most coveted world records in world sport.
She is known as Madam Butterfly, unbeaten in her pet stroke for 6 years. 20 years ago, her finest victory was unexpected.
Susan would cap her stellar career with gold in the 200 freestyle.
Susie O'Neill, I doubt they'll catch her.
At her home Olympics in the Sydney 2000 Games, where she received the medal on the exact dais she's standing on now in the Nova reception.
And presented with a painting by local artist Travis Vinson.
It brought back so many good memories of me being a kid and then the dreams that I had at that age in my life and then knowing that I went on to achieve them. So, yeah, it was a bit more emotional than I would have thought.
Her work buddies and family colluded to make it happen.
The dices are usually in my garage at home and I didn't notice that they'd gone. So it's really weird that they're here.
It's been a team effort and Sue's had no idea, I don't think, until it all happened.
A $17,000 microphone has been dropped to the bottom of the ocean off the Gold Coast. The device is there to listen to whales and learn more about their movements.
5 kilometres off the seaway, divers dropped a 31-kilogram microphone onto the ocean floor, 30 metres deep.
Then it gets attached to the frame. And basically then we just hope for the best, that it doesn't move.
The $17,000 device can pick up whale sounds from a 10-kilometre radius.
It's basically an underwater microphone, but it's a little bit more sophisticated and also a lot more expensive.
It can even capture whale songs like this. The whale listening station is designed to learn more about the mammals' movements during the migration season.
Listening to the whales 24/7, we're covering the whole time frame, and that makes a huge difference because we don't do surveys at night, but with the hydrophone we can.
The researchers also want to find out if the humpbacks are sticking around our coast longer than before.
We can learn is that do we still have whales in mid-November? Because we can't see whales in mid-November, but we might be able to hear them.
The device will record continuously until it's removed to review the data in mid-November, and there are plans to drop another large microphone off Kira next year.
Also what we want to do is live streaming, so we want to actually put the hydrophones on the surface that do live record.
To get a greater insight into the lives of these magnificent creatures. On the Gold Coast, Crystal Etherington, 7 News.
Harry Potter fans are in a spin over the announcement of a new video game about their favourite franchise. It's called Hogwarts Legacy and will let users be a wizard at the famous school in the 1800s. The trailer for the game is the second highest trending video on YouTube right now. Now to a very special birthday bash at Perth Zoo. Cero, the Galapagos tortoise, was today treated to a specially made birthday cake filled with his favourite foods to celebrate turning 54 years old. The tortoise recently found global fame after a video of him having a pedicure went viral online, with more than 31 million people tuning in from around the world. Today was no different, with well-wishers coming in from near and far. The world's oldest Galapagos tortoise was 175 years old, with less than 20,000 remaining in the wild. They are vulnerable to extinction. The West Coast Eagles are back home in Perth, but there's injury concern for a star player. More details are coming up in sport next.
Camping with friends. It was the perfect escape. They walked off into the wilderness and never returned. Vanished without a trace.
while the first frantic searches are taking place, a council worker finds a large pink-coloured television set on the road near the girls' campsite.
This TV will be the key that turned a missing persons case into murder. Crime Investigation Australia, Sunday 8:30 on 7.
Get ready for outdoor living at Harvey Norman with a new barbecue. Our new season range includes portable barbecues, perfect to just pick up and go. Tried and tested trolley barbecues in a full range of sizes and features. Discover the delicious rewards of low and slow charcoal grilling. Outdoor kitchens are the ultimate choice for entertaining at home. You can even design your own custom outdoor kitchen. Plus, get 60 months interest free and receive a bonus gift card up to $500. Now at Harvey Norman.
Go! 3, 1, go!
Shop ABC Spring Savings Sale for 40% off rollers and panel blinds, 30% off double rollers, 20% off sheer curtains, and 10% off shutters.
1315 ABC.
Unpolished beauty. It defines our country, and at Stratco, it's what we do. Custom crafting, roofing and cladding solutions for remarkable Australian homes. Colorbond Steel's stunning matte finish, brought to life by Stratco How-To.
You've copped a lot of dents, but there's ways you can prevent another injury from ruining your day. So keep on moving, improving, removing everything that's in your way. You gotta move, improve, remove.
Luxurious apartment living doesn't get any better than Civic Heart by Finbar. With a thriving ground floor commercial precinct and world-class facilities including rooftop lounge and dining. With phenomenal views of the river and city, these iconic towers will transform the South Perth skyline. Your exclusive address in the heart of South Perth is now selling. Visit civicheart.com.au.
Fresh tomatoes that are simply bursting with flavour. The secret tips straight from the farm for your backyard. New Better Homes, tonight on 7.
You're watching 7's Afternoon News live from Perth. Adrian Barrett joins us now. And Barrett, it is not looking good for Josh Kennedy.
No, not ideal, that's for sure, Millie. The Eagles veteran tweaked his ankle last night against the Kangaroos and he's now in a race with time to be fit for the Eagles' first final. West Coast arrived home today after 5 weeks on the Gold Coast. Adam Simpson admitting the end of season bye will be very handy for his injured players.
Yeah, we've had a bit of a bad run with our good players getting injured. So we got Dom back, but we lost Gov. So we're still pretty depleted tonight. So hopefully the week off gives us a good opportunity to get those guys back, including Jacko.
And in our news at 6, we'll hear more from Simo on Josh Kennedy's injury. Plus, we'll cross to the Perth Football Club ahead of their historic comeback to finals footy. Been 23 years. The Giants play St Kilda for a spot in the AFL finals tonight, and that'll be live on 7 Mate. The Swans can't make it, but it's been a big couple of weeks for Tom Papley. He's been feeding crocodiles in Cairns.
It was pretty good insight to see what goes on in their life and feeding some chickens and things like
that. The gun small forward also committed his future to Sydney before their last game against Geelong on Sunday. WA Sam Kerr hopes the 2023 Home World Cup will spark a new generation of Matildas and Socceroos, just like Kathy Freeman's Sydney 2000 gold medal inspired her rise to sporting stardom.
Hopefully this team can have that impact on young boys and girls growing up now.
Kerr joined Matildas and Socceroos on Zoom to launch new home and away kits made from recycled plastic bottles. We don't know yet when either team will get a chance to play in them, though. To golf, and it was an incredible start to golf's US Open this morning, with the world's best taking apart the notoriously treacherous Winged Foot course in New York. Patrick Reed and Will Zalatoris both made holes in one at the 7th, Zalatoris came painfully close to becoming the first player to hit 2 aces in the same round at the US Open.
Oh, no.
Hey, Gary.
Oh, no!
Oh, no! Absolute robbery.
Wow!
Reed is sharing second place, 1 behind Justin Thomas, who leads at 5 under par. Tiger Woods' 73 included 6 bogeys, a double and 5 birdies. Adam Scott and Cam Smith are the best of 9 Aussies at 1 over. Richie Porte's quest for a podium finish at the Tour de France took a hit during stage 18. The Aussie punctured a tyre and dropped off the pack with 27 k's to go. Poland's Michael Switkowski led a 1-2 team finish. Primoz Roglic remains in the lead. Porte's still 4th, 3 minutes and 6 seconds behind. And Scott McLaughlin will make his real-life IndyCar debut at St Petersburg, Florida on October 25, a week after the Bathurst 1000.
That's really cool. And yeah, just to get out in the open, now be able to focus on the bend and the rest of the year.
First, McLaughlin had a 3rd straight Supercars Championship to wrap up, though, starting with the first of 2 rounds at the Bend outside Adelaide tomorrow. Then, of course, the Mount Panorama finale. And in our news at 6, Millie, we'll also hear from the Perth Glory's new coach. They've just appointed a new fella, so I'll see you then.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Barra. We can expect some showers, possibly even some hail this weekend. Don't go anywhere. I'll have your weather forecast right after the break.
When Perth wakes up, there's only one place to see breaking news now.
Police have just released new details.
Sunrise, live and local news, sport and weather every 30 minutes. Our team of reporters brings you news from across WA.
As it happens.
Sunrise, Perth's #1.
The greatest finals in Australia's history are here.
He lives for opportunities like these.
The Brownlow Medal, live and exclusive to 7. And then the history-making grand final will be under lights at the Gabba, live for all of Australia, only on 7. Who will earn the toughest and the greatest premiership in our history?
The Tigers are premiers for the 12th time in their history.
The finals begin October 1 on 7.
Acorn stair lifts are the most cost-effective way to retain your independence. And Acorn's fast-track installation means minimal disruption and no need for custom rails. Call for a free on-site consultation or visit acornstairlifts.com.au.
The Tap Doctor does much more than just taps. Everything plumbing and everything gas.
At the Tap Doctor, we also do plumbing and gas, and toilets, and block drains, and hot water systems, and burst pipes. And
the Tap Doctor!
Take an inspirational journey to Perth's trusted mirror specialist, Skurs. Over 150 styles and sizes. Designer luxury, exceptional quality at wholesale prices. Skurs, a world of mirrors. Visit us today.
Cha Cha Restaurant and Bar, Fremantle's award-winning restaurant. Lunch and dinner daily from 11 a.m. New bar, lounge and function room with amazing views. Cha Cha Restaurant and Bar, Fishing Boat Harbour, Fremantle.
Have you filed a claim for compensation for a car or work accident injury? Do you know how much you deserve and what your outstanding claim is worth? Phone solicitor Simon Walters for your free initial consultation now.
Keep your Saturday dreams alive with a Saturday Lotto ticket.
Because 2020 has taken its toll on all of us, Bupa offers more support for your mental health. Online, over the phone, and through the Bupa Health Foundation's partnership with Kids Helpline. More mental health support for more Australians. Find out more at bupa.com.au.
This game may well make the history books.
Your highest ever yet. I am ready.
A record-breaking number of questions.
Red, Belgian. 6. That was remarkable. Textbook, impeccable.
It all comes down to a fraction of a second.
On New The Chase, weekdays at 5 on 7.
Good afternoon, it's Savannah here with a check of your Friday freeways as nothing overly untoward is happening. Northbound run is slow South Terrace up to Hunt Street, then Erindale Road to Reed Highway. Southbound you're seeing delays Ocean Reef Road to Whitfords Avenue, through the city to Mill Point Road and then Roe Highway to Ankertel Road. Want to save on your comprehensive car insurance? Switch to your local RAC online and save $100 off the first year. Get a quote at rac.com.au. More traffic on Monday.
Now, Fuel Watch. Perth's petrol prices brought to you by Fuel Watch and 7 News.
Checking the weather now. We had lots of spring sunshine today. We reached 23 in the city this afternoon, but a change is on the way for our weekend. Looking at the national forecast, rain and a possible storm for Adelaide tomorrow. Humid and late showers for Melbourne, wet in Canberra and Sydney too. Back to Perth, and it's looking like a wet weekend ahead. Showers with a chance of a storm and hail late tomorrow, 19 degrees. More hail possible and rain very likely on Sunday morning, 17 the top. A cloudy day for the start of your working week. The clouds will start to clear on Tuesday, 21 degrees, very warm on Wednesday up to 28, 29 on Thursday and a partly cloudy 22 degrees on Friday. And just before we go, a street performer in Turkey has been upstaged by a protective pup. The artist pretended to fall off a horse during his act, feigning injury, and the stray dog stepped in to comfort him. He licked the performer's face before curling up next to him, much to the delight of the audience. Very cute. That's 7's afternoon news for this Friday. Thanks for your company. I'll see you with Rick, Sue and Barra for 7 News at 6. Stay with us now for The Chase Australia.
Gentlemen, this is the all-new Monty!
Guys and gals!
Now, our celebs take to the stage.
I actually just got goosebumps.
They've tackled the training.
Wanted to see whether Todd would give me a go at one of the solos.
Not quite. They've overcome the pain.
Waxing what, mate?
And they've embraced the spray tan.
He's overcooked himself just slightly.
But when the big moment comes...
It's not going to happen. I feel totally out of my depth.
Who won't conquer their nerves? Is this the year one of them doesn't go the full Monty?
Don't miss the biggest moment of television this year. The all-new Monty, Guys and Gals. Only on 7. Don't miss it. Sunday at 7.
These 4 strangers must work as a team to win thousands of dollars. But standing in their way is one of the sharpest minds in Australia. The Chase.